Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you haven't already, please press the subscribe button if you're on YouTube and like and comment on the video. If you're on Spotify, please leave a 5-star review so that you can push out my podcast to people that like content like this. And please give me a follow as well. Also, comment if you're on Spotify too, please, because I love to chat with you guys. The theme of this episode is updates only, so let's get into it. The title of the first story is, Am I the asshole for initiating a divorce while my wife is in the hospital after a car accident? My wife had 2 kids before we got married, and they have an actively involved father. We have 2 children of our own. My wife is a terrible driver, but she refuses to acknowledge this. She's been in multiple accidents and even had her license suspended. Not for a DUI or anything, just because she's a shitty driver. She will do stuff like reach into the back seat to deal with the kid rather than either pull over or let me or one of our older kids deal with it. She got T-boned in August last year because she took her foot off the brake at a red light to pick up my son's soother that had fallen out. She didn't put the car in park. Thankfully, only she was injured. All 4 kids were in the car. I have had it. I told her that she is welcome to endanger herself and her kids, but that if I'm in the car or if our children are in the car, she will keep her eyes on the road and her hands on the steering wheel. She's finally at the point in her rehab where she can drive again. I reminded her of what I said. I told her that I loved her. I said that her older kids were important to me and that I loved them too. But I told her that if she ever decided to do stupid shit while driving, our relationship would be over and I would make it a part of our divorce that she would be not allowed to drive with my kids in the car. She started crying and said she didn't do it on purpose. I asked her how exactly she took her hands off the wheel, took off her seatbelt, took her foot off the brake, and turned around to pick up the soother by accident. She said that I'm treating her like an idiot. I don't think I am. My children have to be safe. Before you ask, I try and do as much of the driving as I possibly can. I've stopped drinking when we go out. I traded in my car that I loved for an SUV so there's room for all of us. I offered to pay for Uber so she didn't have to drive if I wasn't available. She actually likes driving. Her ex and her parents are on my side. He also told her that if she ever thinks about endangering his kids, he would either go for full custody or ask that she be barred from driving with his kids in the car. Her parents have threatened to stop helping her pay for her stupid high insurance premiums. She thinks we're being unfair because she loves her kids and would never intentionally harm them. She loses concentration when one of the kids needs something and doesn't think to ask for help. I mean, yeah, valid concerns. Hello. I also don't want my children to die. And also, why can't you just work on being a better driver and not being so distracted all the time? Okay, there's another story right after this, and it says, my wife was involved in a single vehicle accident. She was seriously injured, but thank goodness no one else was in the car with her. I have spoken to her about her driving habits and I warned her. I went to see her in the hospital and then I went to a lawyer. I'm also going for full custody with only supervised visitation for her. I'm sick to death of her driving habits and I will not wait for her to injure or kill one of our kids with her BS. I feel bad for doing this while she's in the hospital and facing charges, but I can't take any more chances on her. Exactly. You can't. What are you going to do about it? If she's not going to take charge and actually be responsible, there's nothing you can do. Okay, there's another update and it says, I feel terrible making this post about my ex-wife's driving. I don't know how to link to my old post, sorry. I will summarize. My ex must have had ADHD or something. She would be driving and then decide to look in the back seat or on the floor of the car instead of pulling over. She was badly hurt when she took off her seatbelt at a red light to get a soother that my kid had lost rather than just pull over and park. I told her if she did it again, I was going to divorce her and take custody. She was in physical rehab for a while. She then drove into a canal by the mall because she didn't put the car in park when she was getting paperwork from the back seat. After my ex drove her car into a canal, I was done. I knew she was going to get my kids injured or worse. Both me and her ex went for full custody of our kids, and part of the divorce settlement in my case was that she wasn't allowed to drive my children anywhere. Our divorce was rough, and I still loved her. I just couldn't risk my kids. She got a dog. The dash cam her insurance forced her to get showed that the dog was making puke noises in the back seat. She turned around to look at what the dog was doing. She got hit by a semi when she drifted into oncoming traffic. My kids lost their mom. Their older siblings lost their mom. I lost a co-parent I still cared about. Her parents lost a daughter. I feel awful, but a few of you have asked for an update. I think I will be forgetting about this account forever now. I probably won't reply to questions. Just felt like the folks that had helped me might want closure. Oh my mother effing God. Are you actually joking? Thank God no one was in the car with her, but like, I wish she'd just stop driving, honestly. If you're that bad of a driver, like, that's so sad. The top comment says, OP is lucky that he acted when he did and had the settlement say she wasn't allowed to drive the kids anywhere. Everyone, including the universe itself, was warning her about what was going to happen, and she just didn't listen. You would think after so many times of, especially driving your car into a canal, oh my Lord, have mercy. And it's like, I get it if it's something that you feel like you can't control, because I get it, like ADHD and stuff like that, like maybe you just forget and whatever. I get it, but it's like the responsible thing to do would probably just to be not to drive if you really can't, like, if you can't be responsible and be safe, especially with kids and just in general, like, you don't want to die from a car accident. And it's so sad and unfortunate that that's what it had to come to. Like, all of her kids just lost their mom. Okay, the title of the next story is, my 25 male roommate, 21 female, tried to kiss me while drunk. I rejected her to not take advantage. Now she's avoiding me and is embarrassed. Should I reach out? I've been living in a student dorm with 4 other people for almost a year. We all share a kitchen and common areas. One of the roommates is a 21 female I've always gotten along with pretty well. Friendly, normal roommate vibes, nothing flirty from either side. Or so I thought. Last weekend I was eating dinner alone on the couch in the living room. She came in, clearly quite drunk / high on alcohol, sat right next to me, and we started chatting about random stuff. Out of nowhere, she leaned in and tried to kiss me. She was really unsteady and her eyes were glassy. So my immediate thought was, she's way too drunk for this to be a real decision. And if anything happened, it would look like I took advantage of her. So I kind of froze, gently moved away, said something awkward like, hey, you've had a lot to drink, and excused myself to the kitchen. I figured she would wake up the next day and barely remember it, and everything would go back to normal. It didn't. Since that night, she's completely avoided me. Won't make eye contact, leaves the room if I enter, skipped our usual group snack nights 3 days in a row, which she never does. One of our other roommates pulled me aside and said she's mortified and embarrassed and doesn't know how to face me after throwing herself at me while wasted. I genuinely don't think less of her at all. I rejected her in the moment because I was trying to be respectful, not because I'm disgusted or uninterested. I actually do find her attractive, but that's besides the point right now. I just don't want her to feel ashamed every time she sees me for the rest of the year we're living together. My question is, should I reach out and clear the air? If yes, what do I even say so it doesn't make things more awkward or put pressure on her? Or is it better to just pretend nothing happened and let her come around on her own? I don't want to make her feel worse, but the current silent treatment is painful for both of us, and the vibe in the flat is off. Definitely talk to her and be like, hey girl, actually I would have kissed you if you were sober, but I didn't want to make it seem like I was going to take advantage of you because you were drunk and I didn't want you to regret it the next day. Period. Okay, update 1 day later. Some of you asked for an update, so yeah, here we go. I took everyone's advice and just sent her a simple text yesterday. I said, hey, everything's totally fine from my side, no weirdness at all. Can we talk for a minute when you're free? 5 minutes later, she knocked on my door. She looked super nervous, immediately started apologizing for basically throwing herself at me while hammered. I just laughed a little and told her it really wasn't a big deal, that I only stopped it because she was way too drunk and I didn't want things to be messy and wanted neither of us to regret it later. Then I took a deep breath and said I actually really like her and I have for months. She went quiet for like 3 to 4 seconds, got this huge smile and said, wait, really? And then basically launched at me for the longest hug ever. She told me she likes me too, and I gave her a kiss on her head and asked her out. So we're going out for dinner and drinks on Saturday. She already promised no blacking out, and we'll try it out sober this time. Honestly, I feel like I'm floating. Thanks to everyone who told me to stop overthinking and just text her. You guys saved me from months of awkward hallway dodging. Yeah, because she would have thought that you literally hated her and you were disgusted by her. Like, I would think the same thing. I totally understand and I respect that decision to not do it while she was drunk. Like, honestly, tea of you and so fierce. But, like, if you're not going to say anything and you're just going to be like, hey, like, she's going to remember the moments that made her most embarrassed. Because you know when you're super drunk and you only remember, like, the moments that are just, like, heightened, and that probably was a moment that she would probably remember a little bit, or at least like flashes of, and she'd probably just remember you being like, not interested, and that is gonna make her think that you think that she's disgusting. Someone said, good on you for turning her down while drunk and doing it the right way. You're a good lad. T. Sorry, I keep saying T in this episode. Oh my god. Okay, we're going to move on to the advice section and confessions section of this video. If you guys ever want unprofessional advice from me, you can call and leave a voicemail at 561-264-7017. You can also leave a confession on that voicemail as well. Or you can write in. There should be a link in the description. It's a Google form, and you can either drop a confession in there or ask for advice. This says, first of all, I love you. I'll try to write this as Reddit as possible. I love you too. So I, 24 female, have been dating my girlfriend, 30 female, for almost 2 years. We started dating at our job where she was the assistant manager. At the start of our relationship, she was constantly talking to one of our other coworkers, 18 female, who I will call Ava, at work and online, and they played video games together constantly, like every night after work. She had talked badly about me to my girlfriend, saying I was just trying to use her and that my girlfriend shouldn't date me. Obviously, I'm like, she doesn't even know me. I've barely talked to her, so clearly she's just saying this for her own interests. I told my girlfriend that she might just be into her, and that I thought it was weird that she was besties with an 18-year-old girl who had just graduated high school earlier that year. She agreed, assured me that Ava did not have feelings for her, and that they would stop talking going forward, other than anything work-related. Their friendship was before our relationship, and this conversation took place only a week or so after we started dating. The other day, I went through her phone when she was sleeping, not because I suspected anything, but because I was just being nosy. Oops. I searched my name in her text and found a bunch from before we started dating. She openly admitted to her ex-girlfriend how Ava broke her heart, led her on, and confused her because she was so jealous of me. 2 weeks before we started dating. Also, she texted her friend saying that we were dating and immediately followed up with, she's so jealous of Ava, it's crazy. So clearly she was pursuing her before me. What really gets me here is the age difference. She was almost 29, fully trying to date a girl who was her subordinate at work, who just graduated high school a few months ago, who also had a boyfriend at the time. At 24, I would never think about pursuing someone under 20, which even 20 seems young to me. I confronted her about this, and she told me she knew it was creepy, but her mom said that it was okay. She cried and told me she never told me this because she was embarrassed, even though I did ask multiple times at the start of our relationship because I could sense a weird vibe. I still think it's gross and creepy. She literally said that she knew it was creepy, but just didn't stop. Our relationship is amazing. She treats me so well, supports me fully, and we never argue. This is probably the best relationship I've ever been in. However, I don't know how I can get past this. I see her completely different now. She told me she was in a bad headspace and that I should know she's a good person now based on our relationship, which is true. I haven't seen any red flags other than this. I feel like she was embarrassed that Ava didn't want her, so she started dating me instead, the girl who Ava was jealous of. On top of this, Ava was 18. Yucky. Would you leave an otherwise completely healthy relationship based on this? Oh, I agree with you 100% about all of this, and I think that this is a hard situation because everything else is obviously perfectly fine in your relationship and you're really happy in your relationship, but it is creepy and so weird to be dating or trying to date an 18-year-old. And also, what makes it even worse, and obviously you're gonna know as like an adult that that's wrong, but what makes it worse is that she's saying that she knew it was creepy, but she just didn't stop. Like she didn't have control over it, you know? Because that's giving like predator vibes. Like, oh, I just don't have control over it because I just like young kids. Like, I don't like that at all. An 18-year-old, no. 18 is just so young, especially for a 30-year-old. Like, that's just a lot. And then not to mention like the power dynamic that they have for their age, and then also because they work together and she's like higher up or whatever. That's scary. I can't say like really what I would do. I definitely think that eventually I'm trying to put myself in this position, especially because if it was a guy, I would find it creepier because guys just creep me out. in general, and then like that on top of it would creep me out even more. But it's still creepy. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know, whatever. Take that as you will. But yeah, if my boyfriend was 30 and he was like trying to date an 18-year-old before me, I think I would be really grossed out, and I think that it would get to a point where I would just slowly start to resent him and like lose feelings for him, and then that would probably end up ending our relationship, because that would always be in the back of my mind, like, you liked an 18-year-old. Like, my boyfriend now, would feel weird if he wanted to talk to an 18-year-old. Like, even like yeah, he's the same age as you. He's 24. And at 24, I agree. I would never have thought to date an 18-year-old or even look at an 18-year-old. Also, she told me she knew it was creepy, but her mom said it was okay. Who said that? That's what I'm trying to. Her mom said it was okay. You're saying that your girlfriend said that the 18-year-old's mom said it was okay, or what? I'm confused about that. But I wish I could say like a straight up answer. I guess we can get other people's opinions on this. Also, please, guys, please be nice. Comment your opinion on this. I don't know, because I hate always giving the advice of like, just break up. But I feel like if you keep continuing the relationship and you sense it like really, just pandering at you, and you just can't stop thinking about it, and it's like a gut feeling that you're getting, then I think eventually you'll just end up breaking up, and it will be a little bit more of a natural thing. Yeah, that's a really hard situation, and I'm really sorry, and I love you. I hope that you figure it out. I hope that people have good advice about it. And please, when giving advice, like, I always try, I want to like I want to tell the viewers to please try to put yourself in this situation and try to put yourself in the shoes as much as humanly possible. Try to empathize as much as humanly possible, because I know it can be hard. Sometimes you think like from an outside perspective, you're just like, well, obviously break up, but like put yourself in this situation and don't be harsh. Okay, the next entry says, hi, I'm a huge fan of the podcast. I listen to it every day driving to school and when I come back home, and it makes my days better. I love to hear that so much. I need some advice about a friendship issue I'm dealing with. I'm a little younger than most people who submit stories, but I just need some big sister advice. I'm a senior in high school, and I'm best friends with this girl who is a little bit younger than me. We've been friends since like elementary school, so for about 9 years. I love her so much, and she's one of my favorite people in the entire world. But I just need some help on how to navigate this issue. Recently, she's been going through some boy problems, and I've tried really hard to be there for her and give her advice, but she doesn't really want advice. She just wants someone to talk to about it and to vent. I absolutely don't want her to feel like she's alone, but it's also a little hard for me to always be there for her. She'll randomly text me trauma dumping and venting to me throughout the day, and also at the end of every time we hang out. She'll stop me from dropping her off, and we'll just start venting, and then we sit there in the car for like an hour, and I'm just listening to her. I really do understand that this is something she's struggling with, but it's also a bit overwhelming because it's every time we hang out and almost every day. I feel like a bad person for saying this, but sometimes it's too much for me to deal with because I'm also struggling with some mental health problems of my own. It's gotten to the point where I don't really look forward to hanging out with her anymore because I just don't know at the end of it if she'll just end up venting to me, and it ends up affecting both of our mental health. I think it is also a bit triggering to me because she likes to compare my love life and her love life, especially my last relationship, which ended horribly and I ended up getting SA'd. She'll say stuff like, well, at least you were happy and loved for a little bit, but that makes me feel awful because the relationship ended up awful and I ended up getting used. I just need some advice on what to do because it's so draining to not look forward to hanging out with your best friend because you know she's just going to compare your life to hers, and it's going to end up making you feel terrible. Let me know if I'm a bad person, if I need to stick it, and if I just need to suck it up and listen to her and try to be more empathetic, or if there's anything else I can do to make the situation better. Thank you. I love you. Sorry, this is so long. Okay, I love you too, and oh my God, I think we've all had friendships like this before. And it can be really hard. And I'm honestly like so bad about this kind of stuff because I'm not good at setting boundaries with people. And I also feel like you. And I just want to first say you're not a bad person for this. And it's normal for it to affect your mental health when someone's constantly trauma dumping on you and venting. I've had multiple friends like this before, and it's really hard, especially when it feels like they're always trauma dumping on you and venting to you. But then, and I don't know if this is your situation, but this would be a lot of times my situation. It'd be like I was just there and they were just trauma dumping on me, but once I would want to talk about something, they would just kind of like ignore it or nonchalant, just like casually move on to the next topic. And it was just like, I'm there for you so much and I let you vent so much, and like I take so much of my energy and my emotional energy to try to like help you and try to listen to you and be a good friend. And then when it comes to the other situation, to like having it be vice versa, you completely just ignore me, kind of. Not in a mean way or anything, but just like it just seems like that. You can just tell they don't really care. They're more so like caring about what they are going through, which I understand, we're all going through things, but if you're constantly venting to someone, I don't know, you just need to be like a little bit more self-aware that like everyone has their issues, and of course you want friends that are going to be there for you, but at a certain point it does get mentally draining and exhausting. So I don't think that you're a bad person at all. And it's totally okay to take a step back from that and like honestly just try not to give too much of your energy to it. The hard thing is that like I would give you the advice to like talk to her about it, but and I'm sure that's what a lot of people would say, is to talk to her about it and just like have a good conversation and be like communicate with her that, you know, it can be hard, but I'm trying to give advice that I would do, because I don't want to like preach something that I wouldn't do, because I'm not good at confrontation. And as much as that would be the best situation to do and to communicate with someone like your boundaries and that you just don't feel comfortable, if you feel comfortable doing that, 100% do that. Like that's probably the best way to go about it. But for me, it's so hard to do that. I feel bad setting boundaries with friends. I always feel bad. Like I don't want them to feel like they're a burden or anything. And I feel like if I communicate that, you know, it's hard and mentally exhausting to always listen to them vent, then they're gonna take it the wrong way. Like I always think like that. So yeah, I'm trying to like say what I would do, and that would probably just be like distance myself a little bit, just like hang out with her just a little bit less, maybe like take a little bit to respond to her text messages, or maybe just be like, if she does text you a long vent, be like, hey, I'm like super drained right now, can I get back to you when I'm feeling a little bit better, because my mental health isn't doing that well. Maybe like, you know, come back at her being like, and being like, I totally love you and I hope that everything is okay, but I'm currently like not in the best state right now to deal with this. I'm a little bit drained, I'm exhausted, and can I talk to you about it when, you know, I'm feeling a little bit better mentally, a little bit better emotionally. I don't even know if this is like the best advice. This is just what I would do, because I'm so bad at confrontation and setting boundaries with people. It's actually so bad. But it did end up honestly hurting my relationships. I feel like I'm still friends with one of my friends that really comes to mind when I think of a person like this. I've been friends with for a long time, and it's like this is the only way that she knew how to bond with someone, is by like talking shit, venting, and like trauma dumping. And I feel like she would always do that, and then I would try to talk about something and it would be like just kind of brushed past and like swept under the rug and whatever. So I kind of started not bringing up stuff as much, and I would just listen to her, and she would just like go on and on and on. And that was pretty much our whole friendship, was just her telling me all these things every single time. And every single time she wanted to hang out, it was like, oh, I have to tell you this, I have to tell you this. And yeah, so I think of that girl, and in the past couple years we haven't been very close. Like we still talk, we still like text, but we just haven't really been close like we used to be. And I feel like we kind of grew apart because of that, and also like other reasons that just were like a little bit triggering, like going through eating problems and stuff. And yeah, so yeah, I totally get it. But don't feel bad to take your own days of mental health and your own like space for your mental health. Like don't feel bad about that at all. You can't help someone and you can't be there for someone if you're cup isn't full. Like, you can't, what is the saying? You can't pour out of an empty cup. Like, you really can't. If you have nothing to give, you're not going to be your best self for someone, and you're not going to be able to give someone else your energy and try to help them out. So always put yourself first, because that's the most important thing. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people put themselves first. Like, it seems like this girl was putting herself first a lot and not really thinking about you in turn, which maybe she should learn a little bit from you and balance that out a little bit better. But I love you, and hopefully other people have a little bit more advice for you in the comments. Also, the past couple days that I've been filming, I've been thinking, because this girl commented, I always tell you guys random comments that I get that like are annoying, but this girl commented saying that my content gives brain rot, and I was like, and also the crazy thing is I always get such like good comments about like my commentary and how they love like listening to it and they can relate to it, and they think that I like speak really well, which I don't know if I can agree with you, but I think it's because when it's like a comment that you kind of think about yourself, like I feel like I do give brain rot, like I kind of do just say whatever comes to my brain and I like spurt it out, and I don't really even think about it. I just keep going and going and going, and sometimes it doesn't make sense, and sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she was like, what did she say? It's so funny when they give backhanded compliments, and it's like, girl, that was actually really mean. She's like, I love you, girl, but your content always gives brain rot. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, and you just constantly go on and on about stuff that you don't know what you're saying, and it's honestly really annoying, and I can never get through the podcast. Like, I've tried to listen to it multiple times, but I always just end up exiting out because I just can't get through the brain rot. But keep going and keep doing you, girl. XOXO. Like, you saying XOXO and that you love me and stuff and like encouraging me, and then in the same sentence completely putting me down multiple times in a row is crazy. It's like, no offense, but you're ugly and fat and really weird and dumb. Like, the no offense does not make it better, please. Are you that like not self-aware? But it's fine. I do give brain rot sometimes, and I guess that's like, it's fine, because that's who I am, and I'm not going to change who I am for people. That's kind of what I have to think about myself, you know? And I'm like, honestly, because guess what? My whole life, I've always felt so stupid, like growing up, and I'm not saying this for sympathy. I'm saying this is how I felt growing up, because I was so bad at paying attention and so bad at school, and I felt so stupid all the time because I could never understand, and I felt like I learned in a completely different way than everyone else, and my learning like abilities were never unlocked, because they teach you one way and expect everyone with different like learning styles to understand. And I feel like I just felt so dumb my whole life. So then that's why I feel like that stuff gets to me, because I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, my brain is rot and I am giving brain rot. So you're not totally wrong. But anyways, I'm definitely a lot more confident than I was growing up and even just a few years ago. So like, it does get to me for a second, but then I just like put my big girl panties on and I'm like, but guess what? People also love listening to me, and that's all that matters. So, love you. And I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.